All right, clap it up for yourselves one time. So, I want to tell you all a little bit about my background. So, for about 9 years, I worked in higher education as a counselor, as a recruiter, as an advisor, and I would routinely have students kind of come to me and they would sound like this. Tell me if this sounds familiar to you guys. I got classes, I got work, I got family issues, I got everything's going, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm so overwhelmed. Has anyone ever felt that way before? Anyone ever felt overwhelmed before? Has anyone ever, keep your hands up if you've ever known any other students who've ever felt overwhelmed before? So, inevitably, here's what would happen to me. A student would say, hey, you know what, I'm so overwhelmed, I think I'm going to take like a semester off, right? But we all know what happens when you decide to take a semester off. Yeah, most students don't end up coming back after one semester, right? It ends up being much longer than that. So, if you all had to guess, what's the number one reason that students leave school in college? What's the number one reason? What? Money, right? Money is, that's pretty much well known across the board throughout the country. Most students leave school because of money issues, right? Well, the second biggest reason why students leave school is because they're overwhelmed by all of their life demands. I got classes, I got a job, I got clubs, organizations, I got sports, I got family, I got this, I got that, and it takes a toll. And so that's the second biggest reason why students in the entire United States drop out. So here's what I did. I looked at my experience, again, 9 years working in higher education, having students come to me and say, Derek, I think I'm going to take a semester or whatever off. But then a semester turns into 2 years, 5 years, 10. I've had a number of students at 12 or 15 years who said, I just want to take some time to kind of get my mind right, get my mind together. But here's what happens. Whenever you leave school, right, even for a semester, because you're thinking, well, classes are taking up so much of my time, and I just need to free up, my time. Maybe what happens is that job you had, you end up working more hours. That relationship you were in, it takes up much more of your time. Everything else takes up much more of your time. Some people end up having children. That takes up so much more of your time. So now, guess what? You're not actually gaining time. You're not freeing up your time, because other things are taking over, right? So what I did was this. Based on that information, I created a program that I call Walk with the Tightrope. And it's about how to successfully balance your classes, clubs, jobs, relationships, and everything else without losing your mind. Because that's what's going on with a lot of students on campuses all over the country. They're basically, like I was talking to Sherman over here from Coles the other day. He was saying, man, I got so much going on, but thankfully, yeah, I told you I was going to shout you out. So thankfully, though, he's still performing well and doing great in school, but so many students aren't. So, but what's interesting, though, is just a few little small, simple tweaks to what you're doing, you can actually change your entire college experience. So I'm going to share with you today actually 2 or 3 things that you can take home with you. It doesn't take a long time. They're very simple, very easy to do. So if that sounds good to you, say it sounds good. Say it sounds good. All right. First thing is, how many of y'all stay up late? Anyone stay up late? All right. So this is what people normally tell you. They usually say, one of the first things that you need to do if you're overwhelmed is get more rest. They say, you need to sleep more. And I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I'm going to kind of buck conventional wisdom a little bit. And here's my suggestion. Stay up a little bit later, 30, 45 minutes later. Here's why. Not to watch random reruns of Marvel, Family Guy or whatever. What you're actually going to do is this. You're going to take a sheet of paper, right? And I want you to repeat after me. Say, gotta do. Say, gotta do. On your sheet of paper, you're going to write the words, gotta do. This is basically a list of things that you have to do in the next 24 hours. These are the things that you are going to get done no matter what. And then on the other side of your sheet, you're going to write these words. Repeat after me. Say, I'm not going to do. You say, I'm not going to do. These are the things that you refuse to let get in your way. These are the things, for instance, I'm going to go hang out with Jenny at Pinkberry so we can talk about how ratchet Nene is. Right? That would be an example of I'm not going to do it. Okay? So again, I'm not saying you need to plan out your entire life. You get your 5-year, your 10-year plan together. I'm simply saying in the next 24 hours. Because what happens is so many students don't have what we call a purpose. They kind of lose track. But if you have your list together, you can say, you know what? I'm not going to get off track. And things happen in life, right? Sometimes things happen, you have to be flexible. But at least you have a plan. You know what kind of direction you're going in. So say up a little bit later than you normally would, just printing out your next day, because guess what? That actually steals time from you. You don't lose time. You actually end up stealing more time the next day because you know exactly what it is you have to get done. All right? Or if you go to bed too early, you end up like this dude right here. He has some horrible friends, my God. Anyway, so next thing is I thought it was appropriate for us being here in Hershey, Pennsylvania. So I got this thing I call the chocolate bar theory, right? So what do Hershey's do? They take this big, huge chocolate bar, right? And they break it down into what? Little, small, bite-sized pieces, right? Exactly. So what do we do often when we have a big project? We decide, I'm just going to tackle it. Or if I got a bunch of studying to do, I'm going to go on a 5, 6, 8-hour study marathon spree thing, whatever, right? But we all know from science tells us that what you want to do is this. You want to break it down into small, bite-sized pieces. You want to study for like 45 minutes, an hour, take a break, 5 to 10 minutes. Study 45 minutes, an hour, take a break. And the reason why you want to do that is this. The human brain remembers way more information from the beginning and the end than it does in the middle. So you want to give yourself a lot more breaks. All right? So again, chocolate bar theory. And again, that overwhelm from having big projects in class or having a big project in your student club or organization is one of the reasons why students are overwhelmed. Now, how many of y'all remember the show? How many of y'all still watch the show Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Here's what I need y'all to do for me. If y'all remember the theme song, I need y'all to sing it with me, okay? So here we go. Now, here's a little story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down. Now, I'd like to make a minute, just sit right there. I tell you how I became a prince of a town called Bel-Air, right? So we all remember that. What was Will's best friend's name on the show? What would happen when Jazz would go over to the house and he would piss off Uncle Phil? Right? That's what sometimes we got to do with toxic people in our lives, right? You know, those people who kind of drain our energy, who take so much from us, way more than what they give. So in our program, I actually teach you guys how to deal with toxic people and how to turn toxic relationships into healthy ones, so that they're not overwhelming like they were before. It's especially important if you have people in your life that you love and you care about, you still want them to be around, but then you don't quite know how to deal with it. So I actually give you some strategies on how to do that.